Welcome to episode 13 of the Desi Outsiders podcast. I'm Ankita.
And I'm Meenal.
And this week, we are happy to announce that we're just 1 week away from this season's finale. So we thought that we should sit down and share some of our favorite things from this season with you guys. By that, we do not mean that we're going to be talking just about our episodes, although we do include one each of our favorite episodes from this season. But we're also going to be sharing our favorites in a general sense, like skincare, books, YouTubers, etc.
Also, do stay tuned till the end because we're going to announce a special end of season giveaway which will include 3 items from our list and 1 bonus item. We'll be sharing what they are and how you can enter the giveaway at the end of this episode. So Ankita, let's start off with you then. What's your first favorite on the list?
My first favorite, unsurprisingly, is a book, and I personally feel that this has to be one of those books that every young Indian should pick up and read. It's The Legend of Lakshmi Prasad by Twinkle Khanna. Now, the reason why I really like it is because it's a collection of 4 fictional stories with an underlying theme of feminism, and I think it's best if I give our listeners a little glimpse into what the 4 separate stories are so that they know what they're getting into if they actually decide to pick up this book and read it.
So this book has 4 different stories inside it in one book?
Yeah, okay. One book with 4 short fictional stories. And the first story, it bears the name of the title of the book, and it paints a picture of a 17-year-old girl by the name Lakshmi Prasad who wants to empower every single girl child in her village. And there's another story which deals with the life of a 68-year-old woman who falls in love with a married man, and she paves her own path for herself, breaking stereotypes and doing her own thing. And I found that really fascinating. There's even a Malayali protagonist in one of these stories, which was very interesting for me as a Malu. And this person is breaking all stereotypes again as she plans her 5 weddings in a quest for meaning in life. And finally, the last and longest story in the collection is based on the life of, I don't know if you've heard of him, Meenal, Mr. Arunachalam Muruganathan, who, if you remember, is the social entrepreneur who invented the cheapest sanitary napkin making machine. I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, I remember him. I didn't actually know that he's from South India.
So basically, Twinkle Khanna has taken his story and she has added a little bit of fiction. And it's about this South Indian dude who's obsessed with sanitary napkins, and he's making people embarrassed by it. And that is the story. It's the longest story in the collection, and I really liked it. And I think we should link to his TED Talk as well in the show notes. I just loved this book.
This guy you mentioned, he has a TED Talk as well.
Yeah, he has a TED Talk as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You should watch it. I actually watched it around a year ago. And then when I read this book, I got the feeling that this is the person she's drawn inspiration from.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
It's really interesting how she's made a book which is about feminism, and she's based one story around a man who has actually led the way for a lot of people now in the south of India, especially with his revolution in the sanitary napkins.
Yep.
It's really interesting. I don't follow Twinkle Khanna as much as you do, Ankita.
I really, really love her blogs. You should definitely go check out her Times of India blogs. And she writes so well. She talks about current affairs. She talks about things that happen, as we speak, these things are happening, and she writes them in such a witty, hilarious manner. I love it.
Does she have a website as well? I'm sure she does.
No, I'm pretty sure she doesn't have a website. She's just a columnist for Times of India.
So she's Akshay Khanna's wife, right?
No, Akshay Kumar's wife.
Akshay Kumar's wife. Oh, yeah, she's the one who didn't want to change his surname, right?
Yeah, and recently, and someone tweeted her saying, "Why Khanna, not Kumar? It should be Kumar, okay?" And then she's
the one who said like branded, not married, not branded, or something like that, right?
She started the hashtag married, not branded, and
that's it. Actually, I will definitely look into this book. Sounds very interesting, especially with this guy who started these sanitary towels. So I'll definitely read into his TED Talk and look into that.
This is actually her second book. She's written a book. Her first book was called Mrs. Funnybones, and that is her Twitter handle as well. That's what she refers to herself as. And I haven't read that book, but I believe that it's also about culture and Indian society and all of those things, but in a really funny, witty manner. So she's a pretty good writer. You should definitely check her out.
I will, Ankita. One of your favorites this season was a book. Mine is actually a TV show. And that is because you know how the past few months have been so hectic? You just need that like 40, 45 minutes with my dinner to just chill out and watch TV show. So I was watching on Netflix. There's a TV show called The Good Wife.
I've seen it. It's actually on my list.
But have you watched it?
I haven't watched it. I've seen The Good Wife and it's on my list.
So the thing is that I don't actually have the patience to sit down and watch a TV show.
Right.
Or even like a movie. I mean, most movies I watch in 3 sittings. I can't watch them in 1 sitting. It's really strange. So watching, for me to actually sit down and watch the whole episode of Good Wife must be pretty good. And I think that the most attractive thing about this TV show is that the characters start to build throughout the series. And it's like, I'm not analyzing it, but it's really interesting to see how people change and grow and develop. I won't say too much for those who haven't watched it yet, but it's also got a lot to do with feminism because the good wife, as the title says, her husband cheated on her. And now she's trying to portray herself as a strong woman, trying to lead a family, trying to put it all to the side and not trying to dwell into the fact that her husband actually cheated on her. So she's forgiving him for his mistakes and she's just trying to be a good mother and a good wife.
Right.
And I actually watched Grey's Anatomy 2 years ago and I actually stopped watching it because I just thought, okay, yeah, the characters were interesting, but you know Shonda Rhimes, the writer?
Yeah.
Like she just, even you can be the happiest person on the planet and you watch Grey's Anatomy and you will be the saddest person on the planet. Like she writes it in such a way that you can become upset and sad even though you're not.
I'm actually on season 5 of Grey's Anatomy and I can tell you that most of the episodes, they have pulled certain strings in my heart and I have actually ended up sitting on my couch and crying.
Really?
Yeah, that has happened. Sometimes it's just it's not any of the characters. I find it hard to sympathize with most of them because I don't like most of the characters in the show. But these patients come in and they all have these stories which are like heart-wrenching. And I have actually found myself sitting down and crying about some of the patients, not the characters.
So you don't like any of the characters at all?
I just like Christina Yang. I love her.
Really?
I
think she's
love
a bitch.
her. No, I love Christina Yang. I think that woman is my spirit animal. Oh, I love her.
Let's move on.
Moving on. So I will definitely check out The Good Wife because especially coming from someone like you who does not watch television.
Yeah.
I think I want to go check out The Good Wife. But my next favorite is something that I don't know if you would enjoy because you're not that into board games.
No, I'm not a loser, Ankita. I don't sit at home and play chess and Monopoly and...
The thing
I
is,
have real friends.
Shane and I are so into board games. We bought this card game called Exploding Kittens. I don't know if you heard of it. It was created by the genius behind the Oatmeal. So first of all, the Oatmeal comics are some of my all-time favorites. And that in itself should be included in this list of our favorites. But coming back to the game that he created, the selling title of the game in itself is a card game for people who are into kittens and explosions and laser beams and sometimes goats. It's actually pretty depraved and really, really funny. So I think that's enough said. Why would you not play that game? Especially because Shane and I have always been into board games. We have a whole collection here and we sometimes play with our friends as well. In fact, for the longest time, we used to get together at a friend's place and about 7 of us would play 4 hours every Wednesday, right? Every Wednesday for 4 hours, we would play Dungeons and Dragons. And have you heard of Dungeons and Dragons?
I haven't heard of it, and please don't explain it to me.
Oh my God, Dungeons and Dragons!
Please don't explain it.
If you're into fantasy stuff,
I said, please don't explain it to me.
I have to. What if there's a listener who hasn't heard of Dungeons and Dragons?
Okay, fine. For the listeners, I will take the sacrifice. Go ahead.
It's basically, if you're into fantasy stuff like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, and you always wished to be a part of that world and do the kind of stuff that they were doing, this is the game for you, where you have these mythical characters that you can play, and your characters get, if you're like a wizard, you get spells. And I was playing the character of a barbarian and I had like a bone hammer and I called it the boner.
You called your hammer the boner?
Yeah, it was made out of bone and it was a hammer and I called it the boner. You can actually make up your own, like your own shields and your own stuff that you attack with, and you can come up with these spells and it's amazing. But the sad thing is that we can't do it anymore because Wednesday nights are when we release the podcast episodes and neither of us can really dedicate, like 4 hours every week to a game.
I'm so sorry you can't play with your boners anymore, Ankita. Very sorry.
Yeah.
But actually, you mentioned this Exploding Kitten board game.
Yeah.
I think the only card game I would ever play is Uno.
Oh my God, haven't you played Cards Against Humanity?
No, Ankita, I haven't played Cards Against Humanity.
Actually, people who have liked playing Cards Against Humanity will love Exploding Kittens. It's amazing.
The only reason I would play Exploding Kittens is because I love the oatmeal as well.
Yeah.
So I respect him enough to do that. But I actually saw on the internet the other day that there's a game is a card game, and it's called Meme That. So you take like a photo out and you have to meme it.
Right. That's
That would
like
be
the
so
perfect.
fun.
Yeah, that's a perfect game for you.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah. you would kick ass at that game.
My bread and butter.
Yeah.
Well, speaking to something that is a bit more interesting and possibly a bit more something that might even help you in your future and in your life. I actually really enjoy this YouTube channel called The Fitness Blender, and I'm sure Ankita, you probably wouldn't agree with me on this, but I hate leaving the house when it's so cold.
Right.
I know you love it for some weird reason because you're just a really weird person, but Fitness Blender is perfect because they have like 30-minute workouts, 45-minute workouts, and you know that I love to work out every day.
Yeah.
So for me to not have the chance to go out because it's snowing, it's cold. So these guys have just the perfect workouts for 45 minutes, 50 minutes. You can do it at home.
Yeah.
You don't need much space. And you just do your workout and you're done within 45 minutes. And it was perfect for me because I was studying as well.
Right.
So it just like fit in really well with my schedule. So any of you guys who are too afraid to go to a gym, or a gym is too far away from you, or I don't think it's too cold in India to go to the gym, so you can't use that excuse. But you should definitely check out Fitness Blender. I think it's the best tool on the internet to stay fit, to keep fit, to lose weight. And if you follow their workout routines, you will actually start noticing a difference. So I really recommend it.
I find that really interesting. But the problem with me is I've tried working out at home and that never worked out because I didn't have the discipline to do it at a given time every single day. And if I had a routine and I would think that I have to work out at this given time on this day and I don't do it, then I feel shit for the rest of the day. But which is why Shane and I actually go to the gym. Even we wake up at 7 in the morning, and even when we leave by 7:30, it's dark. It's really dark and it's really cold, but we don't mind. We actually go to the gym and work out, and that feels really great. But
what time do you go to sleep to go to the gym at 7?
By 12?
12?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay then.
7 hours of sleep is pretty, it's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, so speaking of YouTube, actually, I want to share one new YouTuber that I discovered recently. So, as you know, I've always been a huge Superwoman fan, and I find her really amazing. I find her talented and witty and all of those things. But she was doing these Christmas collabs, and that's when I came across Lisa Koshy. Okay, and thank God for that, because I personally feel that Lisa Koshy is even more funny in comparison to Superwoman. And Superwoman is like a goddess. And I really look up to her, but Lisa Koshy is so funny. Shane and I have actually sat down and binge watched some of her videos, laughing uncontrollably at the same time. Plus, I think her dad might be a Mallu, actually. I can't.
So that's why you connect.
I mean, I can't say for sure, but her actual name is Elizabeth Koshy, and that sure sounds like a Mallu name. And all I know is that her dad is an Indian and her mom is an American. So yeah, she's also a fellow Desi outsider, and oh, so talented, so funny.
Yeah, you should actually watch her. And she even has these Instagram. So her Instagram account has her short videos as well. I think the best thing about her, Ankita, is her facial expressions.
Yes, I was going to say. Oh yeah, her expressions are amazing.
Yeah, that's the best thing about her. I think her facial expressions.
She's very, very creative. She did this collaboration with Nike, and the whole video was done so artistically and so well.
She's really young as well, isn't
She's
she?
just 20 or 21, I think. She's really young, yeah. And she's been on YouTube only for 1 year, and she has 5 million subscribers. Speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So coming back to our list of favorites this season, Ankita, of course, my next one is going to be related to fitness and exercise.
Oh my God.
And yeah, I restarted going to spinning classes. So for those of you who are listening, Ankita is the kind of person that if she doesn't understand something, she will pretend for a while that she does understand what you're saying. And then until she really doesn't get it, then she'll be like, what are you talking about? She will always try and play along. I know this about Ankita.
Oh my God.
So I remember calling Ankita one day when I came back from my spinning class, and she was like, "Oh wow, Meenal, it sounds so great." And obviously, I thought, "Yeah, this girl knows what I'm talking about."
Oh my God.
So the next day, Ankita calls me, and she's like, "Oh, so Meenal, are you tired from your swing class?" I was like,
Ah, to be fair, spin and swing in my
"No."
head. When you said spin classes, you know what straight away went to my head? I imagined you on this like ribbon-like thing with one leg in the air and like spinning. Does that make sense? I literally imagine you doing that, and I
Well,
thought,
Ankita,
okay.
this just tells me you definitely play way too many board games. Like you really need to get out. But
And that's why I
but
thought the next day I was like, okay, swing classes or spin classes. What the fuck was it? Which is why I said swing class. Anyway, coming back to
so
the point.
Ankita, do you actually remember what a spin class is?
Yeah,
Or were
you
you pretending to understand what that
you
was
stood on
too?
a cycle or something.
Or something. No, so I don't know if this is actually available in India, but it's a huge thing in Europe, especially in the winters because it's indoors again.
Right.
And you're just sitting the bicycle itself is static, and you're cycling to music. So the instructor is instructing you to change the resistance, and you cycle to the beat of the music, and they have really good music like hip hop, R&B, and like club music.
Right.
So it's really fun to do. And you know me, Ankita, when good music comes on, then like I'm just like the happiest girl in the world.
I have videos to prove that. So keep talking, making fun of me,
Yeah, I
keep
think I should
making fun
stop
of me.
doing that. Yeah, so that's one thing, another thing I really enjoyed, and especially because once again it's indoors. So I don't know if this is actually available in India, but I guess it's like the equivalent to a Zumba class.
Yeah.
You know, like you're doing exercise to music, but you're just on a bicycle instead. So I think, Ankita, you should give it a go in Edinburgh if you can.
Yeah, I should. Our gym has a bunch of free lessons that you can join, and I should check if they have spin classes.
Yeah, you should. And then you can get your ribbon
Yeah.
and like
And put one leg in the air and like go round and round. Rotate, revolve around my axis, whatever. Okay, but yeah, moving on. My next item on the list is actually a skincare item because I'm a normal girly girl, unlike sportsy Meenal who likes to do spinning and
Hey,
fitness
Ankita,
blender
I
stuff.
am a girly girl from time to time.
Oh yeah, when you were 6 years old and walking down walking down the shopping
Yeah, you're
aisle,
walking down the
chapet
There
maru.
was a time.
I cannot. I've not been able to forget that image. My mom
Really?
said she was listening to that episode and she was laughing till tears were literally rolling down her cheeks because and chapet maru, the way you said that, I say that to
Really?
Jane sometimes. Like, chapet maru. Yeah, but moving on, my next item is a skincare item, and it is the Body Shop's tea tree toner, which I've been using for a while now. So, as you might already know, tea tree oil in general is really good for acne and clearing out your skin. So, ever since I started using this toner, I've noticed how clear my skin has started getting. I'm not very prone to acne, I've mentioned this a couple of times, but sometimes I do get hormonal zits near my nose area and stress breakouts near my chin area. So, applying this toner with a cotton pad immediately tells me that it's working because I get this tingly sensation and usually everything just clears out pretty fast. And I just love it. You should try it out, Meenal. It's the Body
What
Shop's.
are you saying that I have loads of spots?
No.
Is that your way of saying like, Meenal, you have bad skin. You should try this out.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding.
You do this every single time. Like before recording, you call me and say, Ankita, I'm wearing makeup. Can you see the difference? And I say, maybe you should like line your eyes or something. You say, Ankita, are you telling me that I'm ugly? No.
No, I'm just joking around, Ankita. I know. But even just like after like the last 2 days, I've been breaking out with zits as well,
Yeah.
like post-exam stress sort of thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned tea tree oil.
Yeah.
The only thing I've used that's tea tree. Have you tried tea tree oil perfume?
No, I haven't.
It's really good. Like it smells
Yeah?
very nice. Yeah, I think you should try that as well.
Yeah, and this is so for those of you who are listening, this is the Body Shop's tea tree toner, and what you do is after you cleanse your face or you wash your face, you dry your face and then you put some of this on a cotton pad and dab this on your skin. And especially if you're breaking out in certain areas, you will feel a tingly sensation. You will feel this working, and it clears out your skin. It's pretty effective. I really like it.
Ankita, I think one thing I need to be more disciplined with is like washing my face every evening. I wash it every morning.
Right.
But sometimes in the evenings I just brush my teeth and go straight to bed because I'm so tired. But I need to be much more disciplined in washing my face
So that's
and
the thing. if you're actually, this is how I tell myself, even I feel lazy sometimes, but if I'm actually at the bathroom sink brushing my teeth, if I have the discipline to brush my teeth before going to bed, then I can easily incorporate a 2-minute ritual along with.
That's actually a really good point.
If you're already there, then all you have to do is like splash some water on your face and wash it. It's not too hard if you think of it that way. If you have the discipline to stand at your bathroom sink and brush your teeth before going to bed, then you can do it.
Yeah, I think another thing that I've been trying to discipline myself with is listening to podcasts.
Right.
Because I think podcasts are very good to open up your mind, learn new things.
Yeah.
And one new podcast I came across was the Joe Rogan Experience. So Joe Rogan is a comedian, a stand-up comedian, entertainer, and he has this podcast, and you can even watch his podcasts on YouTube.
Right.
So his podcasts are live, and you'll see the whole interview happening and the conversation happening.
That's amazing.
So he invites his guest to his studio and he interviews him. There's no audience or anything. It's just him and the guest. And Ankita, it's really interesting to listen to these interviews because he interviews people who've had amazing success stories, and to get to the level of success that they are now, they've obviously been through a lot of crap.
Yeah.
And they've faced a lot of obstacles and hurdles. And I think it's very important as podcasters like ourselves, to listen to many different podcasts and have a different variety of them, to see how other podcasts work, and also just to see how people have become successful, like the secret to success. And they're really interesting because Joe Rogan is actually quite funny and he's really chilled out and the conversation is really nice. So I've actually discipline myself to listen to one podcast every single day.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I do that. I mean, like you can do that when I walk to university, when I walk to the hospital, when I walk back. And it's actually really good because I force myself not to get the bus and make sure I walk just so I can listen to a podcast. So maybe I should discipline myself to washing my face every night as well.
Yeah. If you can discipline yourself to listen to a podcast every day, you can definitely wash your face as well. Yeah, but this is interesting. So this is a Joe Rogan Experience, isn't it?
Yeah, Joe Rogan Experience.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out. I'm especially intrigued to see the live interview happen. You mentioned that they videotape it.
Yeah, this guy is so chilled out, Ankita. Even in the interview, he'll light a puff and smoke weed with the guests. It's really chilled out, really cool guy. I don't know if you read much about Joe Rogan, but he's been voting and vouching for marijuana to be legal in the US.
Right.
He really believes in like these kind of pharmaceutical ways to heal people. So he's a really interesting guy. I mean, if you guys have heard about him or read about him, I think everyone would say the same thing, that he's a really down-to-earth guy, very educated, very, very well read.
Definitely have to check him out. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. But
you're welcome.
Well, speaking of podcasts, I think it's time for us to have a little shameless plug and talk about our favorite podcast episodes, our own personal podcast episodes from this season. And mine, I would say, is Let's Talk Periods featuring my husband, Shane, because I feel that that's one of those podcasts that we released. And I felt genuinely proud of that episode after it was released and I was listening to it once again, because we cover a range of important subjects in there, starting from our personal awareness and experiences from the onset of our own respective periods. And what I absolutely loved was the male perspective that we brought in through Shane. So he shared the story of a peer from his college who was single but still kept a goodie bag full of female hygiene products in his bathroom because he had female friends visiting him often and he didn't want them to have to go out and buy these products in case there was an emergency. And overall, I just feel that if you're new to our podcast, then please do check out this particular episode called Let's Talk Periods featuring Shane Girish, because it's also the first episode of our period series and it's one episode that I'm genuinely proud of.
Yeah, I was very happy with that because it was kind of like our first interview as well.
Yeah.
With Shane, and I really enjoyed that episode. And in fact, even my favorite episode of our season 1 is The Talk. That was mainly to do with the fact that it was a nice 9-minute, 10-minute clip of just pure education.
Yeah.
Just explaining to people that, how everything works and how our bodies work. And it's really close to my heart because, Ankita, when I was a young girl, I really wish I had come across something like this.
Yeah.
So I felt really happy that I can give this, or we can give this to anybody else who's out there. And also I really enjoyed recording this because I still remember when we were recording this. Do you remember that we had to record this individually, right?
Yeah, separately.
It's different frames. Yeah. So there was a time where I was listening to music and dancing, and I didn't know that you and Shane were watching my recording.
Yes.
Sounds like live performing for you.
That's what I meant by we have clips. I have clips, so you keep making fun of me, and that's gonna find its way on my blog. Just saying. Even I enjoyed recording for the talk, and I really like the fact that it's an educational 10-minute capsule form of video that anyone can consume easily, and it gives everyone an overview into what they're going into when they enter adulthood or puberty.
Yeah, maybe we helped one or two people, but however many we helped, like it is very satisfactory, to release something like that. And I'm sure even a cousin of mine messaged me. And she's like, Mila, I had no idea this is how the body works.
Wow.
So we definitely have one person, Ankita.
Yeah, one person. Yeah,
one person.
So you can find the links to each of the things we listed in this episode in our show notes. So if you're interested, do head over to www.desioutsiders.com for more information. Now for our end of season giveaway. Before we tell you all about it, we just want to thank our sponsors, bonobology.com, for kindly sponsoring 4 items from our list of favorites in this giveaway. Bonobology.com is a website dedicated to couple relationships and the understanding of them. They attempt to make peace with all aspects of couple relationships through real-life stories, discussions, and even counseling. So do check them out at www.bonobology.com.
And like we said, we'll be giving away 3 items from our list, which are 1, The Legend of Lakshmi Prasad by Twinkle Khanna, 2, the Exploding Kittens board game, and the third one will be the Body Shop's Tea Tree Toner. We will also be giving away a bonus item which we haven't listed above, which is the first book by Twinkle Khanna, Mrs. Funnybone. So overall, we have 4 giveaway items for all of you guys, and all you have to do is share this episode from our Facebook page, The Desi Outsiders, onto your timeline, and we'll pick the lucky winners. So I'll just say that one more time, and all you have to do is share this episode from our Facebook page, The Desi Outsiders, onto your timeline, and we'll pick the lucky winners. So we will have our post on the Facebook page with this specific episode. All you have to do is share it. It's very simple, and we will be announcing the winners next Thursday on our podcast on the 29th of December. So stay tuned and make sure you enter this fantastic giveaway, because we're not going to give away free things for a while now.
That is so difficult for us to do considering how desi we are.
Yeah.
But before we end this episode, we wanted to announce that we are also doing a Q&A next week. Next week's episode is our last episode from this season, and it is going to be a Q&A. So we've collected the questions you've sent in so far, but we also invite you to send in any last questions you have for us. You can comment on social media at The Desi Outsiders, or you can send them directly to mail@desioutsiders.com. If you like listening to us, then please do subscribe to us on YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. We would love it if you could give us great reviews.
And thank you once again for tuning in every Thursday and for your mails and questions. We couldn't be more grateful for the support you've shown us, especially as we're approaching the end of season 1. So do stay tuned for more exciting episodes in the future. Until next Thursday, I'm Meenal.
And I'm Ankita.
And we're the Desi Outsiders.